Coming up on Arirang News. Foreign and defense officials from South Korea and China hold diplomatic security talks in Seoul. It's the first such meeting in 9 years, with the recent situation on the Korean Peninsula and Russia-North Korea military cooperation likely topping the agenda. Russian President Vladimir Putin's summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un appears imminent, with Putin's rare two-day visit to Pyongyang in more than 2 decades starting tonight. Thousands of community doctors in the country launched a nationwide walkout today, despite the government's return-to-work order. There was no major disruption, but the government says it'll respond sternly to the illegal action. Good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. This afternoon, foreign policy and defense officials from South Korea and China sit down for talks on regional security. And starting tomorrow, another high-level Chinese official will be visiting South Korea as Seoul aims to boost cooperation with Beijing. Our foreign affairs correspondent Hydrangea leads us off.
Foreign and defense officials from South Korea and China met in Seoul for high-level talks on Tuesday, the same day that Russian President Vladimir Putin headed to Pyongyang. The 2+2 meeting was led by Vice Foreign Minister Kim Hong-kyun and his Chinese counterpart Sun Wei-dong. During Tuesday's meeting, the two sides likely discussed the recent situation on the Korean Peninsula, as well as North Korea's military cooperation with Russia. South Korea is expected to have once again asked China to play a constructive role in resolving North Korea issues and highlight the importance of communication between Seoul and Beijing to maintain peace in the region. The two countries agreed to hold such talks last month when President Yoon sat down for a separate bilateral meeting with Chinese Premier Li Chang on the sidelines of the trilateral summit with Japan. The dialogue was first established in June 2013 and was held that year and in 2015 between Director General level officials. The meeting has not taken place since then, amid strained bilateral relations, after South Korea agreed to deploy a U.S. missile defense shield called the THAAD system. Meanwhile, another high-level Chinese official is set to visit South Korea later this week. The Foreign Ministry announced Tuesday that Shin Chang-sing, the chief of China's Jiangsu province, will visit South Korea for 2 days, starting Wednesday.
It's a visit by a top Chinese provincial government official amid recent high-level exchanges between South Korea and China. We expect this opportunity to boost practical cooperation between South Korea and China.
Jiangsu province, located on the east coast of China, has the second largest economy among provincial governments in the country and has close trade and investment ties with South Korea. While in Seoul, Shin is set to meet with South Korea's trade minister as well as business people in the country. Hydrangea, Arirang News.
A rare summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will likely take place soon after Putin's arrival in Pyongyang, the first in 24 years. It follows Putin accepting the Russian Foreign Ministry's proposal to sign a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement with the North. Our North Korean affairs correspondent Kim Jong-sil has the details.
On Monday night, a day before the official visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to Pyongyang, both Russia and North Korea announced the visit simultaneously. North Korea's central news agency said the state visit was at the invitation of the regime's leader Kim Jong-un. After Putin's arrival in Pyongyang late on Tuesday, the two leaders will likely have a summit while taking care of other major issues the next day. The Russian president is expected to leave for Vietnam on Wednesday, making the Pyongyang visit less than 24 hours. This is his second visit to the North Korean capital since his first one in 2000. Much focus is on what the leaders will talk about. In a rare article in North Korea's official Rodong-sinmun newspaper, Putin wrote that Pyongyang remains Russia's trusted comrade and supporter and was willing to oppose the West group's desire. Putin's words largely focused on criticizing the U.S., saying it's trying to impose order based on rules, calling it nothing but a worldwide neo-colonialist dictatorship based on double standards. Moscow and Pyongyang are likely to sign a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement, a huge step up from the current relationship, which can be defined as friendly cooperation, largely focused on economic exchanges. South Korea and Russia signed a strategic partnership agreement in 2008. So in some sense, Moscow-Pyongyang ties could be stronger than that of Seoul-Moscow, given that the new one will be a comprehensive one, meaning they can cooperate in all fields. While both sides remain rather reserved regarding possible military cooperation, it is likely any new treaties or declarations will represent the closer Moscow-Pyongyang ties. A senior official from South Korea's unification ministry told reporters on Tuesday that Putin's visit largely resembles that of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to North Korea back in 2019. The official declined to make any further comments on Putin's visit until more information is released from Russia and North Korea. Kim Jung-sil, Arirang News.
This morning, North Korean troops once again crossed over the inter-Korean border. This comes amid an increase in activity by Pyongyang inside the DMZ in an apparent move to strengthen control of its people. Our defense correspondent Choi Min-jung explains more.
North Korean troops briefly crossed the military demarcation line again Tuesday morning. According to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, some 20 to 30 North Korean soldiers intruded over the border at around 8:30 a.m. They immediately returned north after the South Korean military fired warning shots and aired warning messages. A similar intrusion took place on June 9th when troops appeared to get lost while working in the DMZ. As was the case then, the South Korean military says Tuesday's border crossing appears to be accidental. The regime has been actively deploying troops to the front line for various construction activities. A military official said dozens, if not hundreds, have been deployed every day since April at around 10 different places within the DMZ. The military identified ongoing activities related to the laying of mines and the clearing of wasteland, the reinforcement of tactical roads, and the installation of anti-tank barriers.
Such trends have continued for the past 2 months, and various activities are underway within the demilitarized zone currently as well.
A military official also pointed out that several North Korean soldiers have reportedly been killed or injured while laying mines. Some experts say Pyongyang might be trying to broadcast its war readiness as North Korea has restored its frontline guard posts and dismantled railways connecting the two Koreas since suspending the September 19th Inter-Korean military agreement last November. However, the South's military assesses that the measures are mainly aimed at strengthening internal control, especially to prevent North Koreans from defecting. As North Korea is expected to do more construction work within the DMZ, South Korea says it is closely cooperating with the United Nations Command to prepare for future eventuality. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
Shifting gears. Referring to his state visits to Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan last week, President Yoon says he made efforts to expand the scope of Korea's global pivotal diplomacy to the Central Asian stage. This came on Tuesday while presiding over a cabinet meeting where he added that the K-Silk Road initiative, announced just before he left for the trip, was well received by the leaders there. He also said the state visits came after a series of summits with emerging regions such as the Korea-Pacific Island Summit and Korea-Africa Summit, adding that the government's vision for global pivotal diplomacy has progressed and is working. Thousands of doctors affiliated with one of South Korea's largest community practitioners groups staged a nationwide walkout today despite the government's return-to-work order. So far, no major disruption to medical treatment has been reported, but the government says it'll respond sternly to illegal actions. Our Moon Hae-ryun has the details.
Nationwide strikes led by the Korean Medical Association has resulted in little disruption for patients so far, but stern responses from the government. The Health Ministry reported that just under 15% of medical institutions around the country staged walkouts on Tuesday. But so far, there has been no major break in medical treatment at community hospitals. During a rally on the same day, the KMA announced that it will start an indefinite walkout next Thursday should the government not meet what it claims are justified demands from doctors. Doctors were immediately ordered to return to work, with the government stating that failure to comply could lead to medical license suspensions. The KMA was also reported to the Fair Trade Commission for encouraging the illegal practice of refusing to treat patients. During a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, President Yoon stipulated that such illegal actions must be met with an appropriate punitive response.
정부는 국민의 생명과 건강을 지킬 책무가 있는 만큼 환자를 저버린 불법 행위에 대해서는 엄정 대처할 수밖에 없습니다. 국민이 동의하지 않고 실현도 불가능한 주장을 고집하면 모두가 피해자가 될 수밖에 없습니다.
He further emphasized that doctors should communicate their opinions instead of resorting to drastic measures, calling on junior doctors and medical students to resume their studies, and promising to provide the necessary support for them to do so. Medical professors at Seoul National University hospitals began an indefinite walkout the previous day, leading to the number of outpatient treatments at the hospital dropping by 27% on the first day. The Education Ministry responded by informing each university that professors participating in collective leave of absence from university hospitals could be subject to disciplinary action. But with medical professors at other major university hospitals, commonly dubbed the Big Five, such as Yonsei University, also set to join the walkouts next week, and others in discussion to do so too, concerns are growing over how this could develop. The Catholic University of Korea is due to gather its medical professors on Thursday to discuss this matter, and professors at Sungkyunkwan University are also to convene soon. In an effort to minimize severe medical disruptions, the government has implemented a rotational on-call system for emergency cases. 문혜련, Arirang News.
Korea's capacity to create a productive business environment has noted a tangible improvement thanks to business efficiency, according to an annual assessment by a Swiss-based institution. Our correspondent Lee Soo-jin reports.
South Korea saw its global competitiveness soar to a record high in rankings released by the Swiss-based International Institute for Management Development. According to the Finance Ministry on Tuesday, South Korea placed 20th overall out of 67 countries that were assessed in the 2024 IMD World Competitiveness Rankings, its highest ever. And it's also up 8 places compared to last year when it came in at 28th. The rankings, which are published in June each year, assess a country's ability to create a conducive business environment by rating them across 4 key areas, namely economic performance, government and business efficiency, and infrastructure, covering 20 subcategories. The rise in Seoul's global competitiveness this year was mostly driven by business efficiency and infrastructure ratings. In this year's rankings, South Korea jumped 10 places in business efficiency to 23rd, thanks to improvements in various subcategories such as productivity, the labor market, finance, and business management practices. And its infrastructure ranking also rose by 5 places compared to last year to 11th, on the back of strong technology, science, and education infrastructure. But its economic performance ranking fell slightly by 2 places and government efficiency by 1 to 16th and 39th respectively, mostly due to falls in subcategory ratings such as international trade and tax policy. As for other nations, Singapore came first overall, rising 3 places from last year, followed by Switzerland, Denmark, Ireland, and Hong Kong. The difference in the rankings of the United States and China this year shrank to 2 from 12 last year, with the US coming in at 12th and China 14th. Meanwhile, European nations such as the United Kingdom and Germany ranked lower than South Korea, with Korea overtaking Germany, which came in 24th for the first time. An official from the Finance Ministry said that based on this improved ranking, the South Korean government will continue making efforts to further strengthen the country's global competitiveness. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
Recent data has shown that the prices of necessities in South Korea are among the highest among high-income world economies. A report released by the Bank of Korea on Tuesday showed that the prices of daily necessities in the country rose over 16% from December 2020 to May this year, outpacing inflation for consumer prices overall. Data from market research company EIU showed that food costs, clothing, and shelter in South Korea were 55% higher than the OECD average, with apples and T-shirts the priciest out of all the 38 member countries. The Bank of Korea attributed high prices of agricultural products to low production rates and distribution costs, and clothing to consumer tendencies to prefer more expensive items. Data shows that a record high number of single-person households in South Korea were in employment in the latter half of last year. According to Statistics Korea on Tuesday, nearly 5 million of the 7 million people living alone were employed. That's 120,000 more than in 2022. The majority were in their 30s. Meanwhile, the number of double-income households also reached a record high. A historical site near Gwanghwamun Square, which served as a key political office during the Joseon Dynasty, has been reopened to the public after years of restoration works. Our Choi Soo-hyung takes us there.
After 8 years of restoration, the site of the State Council of the Joseon Dynasty, or Uijeongbu, is open to the people again from Tuesday. It is a symbolic heritage site near the Gwanghwamun Gate, one of the landmarks in central Seoul. During the dynasty, the Uijeongbu was the highest office, led by the 3 highest-ranking officials that advised the king and deliberated over key problems. Following the Japanese occupation, most of its main buildings were destroyed and the land used for colonial offices. In 2016, the Seoul Metropolitan Government began to restore the site.
The Uijeongbu State Council Site Square project aimed to restore the historical and cultural landscape around the Gwanghwamun area and return it to the people, emphasizing its significant academic value.
The sites of the 3 main buildings, which had been buried for over 100 years, and the small garden where the officials rested, were uncovered together.
People can relax and feel the history within the newly created garden, right beside where the old pond and pavilion used to be.
Visitors also can experience the authentic atmosphere of that time through the preserved old stone paths and some new square foundation stones.
I was curious. I wondered how the structure had been restored and what the old Uijeongbu would look like. That's why I came out here on purpose.
I think it's wonderful that the government has enabled people to have a view of the restored sites, that it shows the connection between and the importance of the history for the people of South Korea, that they take note of the heritage sites and that they are now able to have them open up for the public, which I think is very significant, that the public are able to see that and that you can share your history with the world in a sense.
The State Council site is open 24 hours a day, while an official opening ceremony is scheduled for mid-July. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
At this time of year, South Korea's southernmost resort island of Jeju is popular for its vividly colored hydrangea flowers, widely blossoming across the region. Our Park Gon went there and brings us the beautiful vibes.
Jeju Island is widely known for its different kinds of flowers that bloom by season. In summer, hydrangeas blossom in several spots across the island, especially in the southern part. At this time of year, Jeju is one of the best places to visit and take nice pictures with hydrangeas. As you can see, there's a wide variety of pastel-colored hydrangeas in pink, purple, blue, and many more. With these flowers, many tourist attractions on the island, including natural parks and botanical gardens, hold hydrangea festivals. Hyoeri Natural Park is known to have Jeju's longest hydrangea festival, running from March until August.
Hydrangeas, especially the purple ones, are so beautiful. I think it was really worth it coming here. It's so peaceful listening to the birds singing and feeling the fresh air in nature.
It feels great to be here with my high school classmates, meeting them after a long time. It's soothing as the hydrangeas bloomed beautifully. I'm going to visit here again.
Foreign tourists also enjoyed their time at the festival, saying that it's different from where they come from.
I've really enjoyed the experience. It's my first time being in an area this kind of surrounded by the hydrangeas. They're a favorite flower of mine, so just being here has been really peaceful, and also the people around have been very relaxed and nice, and it just has great vibes.
I mean, in Singapore, we don't usually get a lot of opportunities to see so many pretty flowers with these colors, and we don't get many parks like this, so I'm not used to this kind of tranquility.
As the relaxing Hydrangea festivals are held until the end of summer, why not visit Jeju to experience the beautiful vibes of hydrangeas? 박건우, Arirang News, Jeju.
The scorching heat is getting worse. This morning, the heat wave warning expanded to Gwangju, Busan, and Daejeon. It will also take effect in northern Gyeonggi-do province, Chuncheon in Gangwon-do province, and the Chungcheong-do province and other central inland areas from tomorrow morning. It is better to refrain from outdoor activities as much as possible. Tomorrow, the daytime temperature in Seoul will rise to 35 degrees, and scorching heat will be felt across the country. Unlike the clear inland areas, Jeju Island will have its first rainy season this summer from tomorrow. This rain will continue until Friday, but there is a possibility that it will rain again over the weekend. Tomorrow morning, Seoul, Gwangju, and Daegu will start off at 21 degrees. Highs will be topping out at 34 in Chuncheon, Daegu and Gyeongju, 36 degrees. On Sunday, more rain is expected in eastern Gangwon-do province. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. Well, that is all for this newscast tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the most up-to-date news. Good night.